What are you making here, Flo?
We're working on donuts.
Oh yeah, lemon donuts.
Jordan just had a great conversation with somebody.
Yeah. So we thought we would come on and chat with you guys about it. A lady messaged a couple days ago wondering if she should do the master class or if she should join the collective and get some ebooks. So we kind of been talking the past 2 days on what would be the best fit for her, which is always our goal. You know, we kind of ask a lot of questions to see what would benefit you the best. Yeah. And she messaged back and she was kind of like, "You're making me cry," because she's kind of at this point of overwhelm. She has a franchise. She opened it a couple of years ago. She's doing about $20,000 in sales a month. And she said, I would listen to your podcast and I remember hearing rent is supposed to be 6 to 10% of gross sales. And she said ours is way above that, which we hear very often, especially in these, which is why we always say grow so slow, because you just don't know what you're getting into. Yeah. And you'll often find in commercial spaces rent is $6,000 to $10,000 a month. In a lot of normal cities, and in smaller towns, you're usually $1,000, $2,000. In big places, sometimes they just take a percentage of your sales, which is kind of nice, like a minimum and then a percentage. Anyways, we talked to a lot of people. A lot of their money goes to rent, and it's just like they're overwhelmed. They have a franchise. There's all these rules of the franchise, and they feel like they're not in control. Their money's going out the door. You start a business and you propose this business plan, and it's all very hopeful, right?
Yeah,
it's all very positive.
Like in La La Land, yes. Almost.
It's all in this 10% of people that succeed world, but 90% of you are really going to struggle. And so if you're looking at a franchise, if you're looking at any business proposal that somebody is bringing to you, somebody's offering you, it's different when you kind of do your own research and you're realistic, but often these are kind of proposed opportunities. And if you're in that instance, really think that most people, it's not this successful, or it takes a long time to get there, or it takes like this perfect, beyond perfect location that's insanely busy. And I was telling her, she was just so thankful, because I was kind of giving her some numbers, what we've seen, what our experience shows, and she was so thankful for one, hope. She was like, wow, I just have hope, like, to know what's possible, because as an entrepreneur, we get so tunnel visioned, and we are scared to ask people, we are scared to ask people like, hey, what are your numbers, or are you struggling? Because we always want to look successful. To ask for help, we always want to look so fancy. And on that note, people you think are super successful, they're just normal people. Okay, they're really not crazy. Like, woo! Maybe they hit it good every now and then. Maybe it's really good sometimes. But we're all normal people that are all just
doing this thing called life.
Yes, and also we all have different expenses and different incomes, so it's usually very rational. Rational. Like
I know the word you're looking for.
You know what I know? It's
proportional.
Proportional. Yeah, maybe you make a ton, but you spend a ton. And so if you're looking at somebody else's business and you're like, oh my gosh, they're so good and I just wish I was that successful, just be like, just
take
understand.
It with a grain of salt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just helps you with some perspective. But she was so thankful for the perspective of hope, that there is there is hope, right? Like, you can make money. But then she was also like, man, this franchise, this rent, I feel like it's really bringing me down. And I said, if I were you, this is what I would do. I would get out of the franchise and I would start fresh. And when I think about starting a business, I think about growing my brand, my business, my legacy. I don't think this is a quick thing, I'm going to make some money, over the next 5 years and then be done. I'm thinking this is something I'm going to spend the next 40, 50 years doing. And I don't want to grow someone else's brand, I want to build mine, which I know, because my business brain works, is going to venture out into other things, right? So there are these restrictions with franchises that don't allow you to explore things that you might want to explore, offer what you want to offer, do what you want to do.
I think a franchise is tempting because it feels kind of safe. Like, there's already a brand built there. There's already there's a track record there.
Yeah.
But that doesn't guarantee that they've structured it well, that they know what they're doing.
Well,
long-term success doesn't guarantee anything.
And also, you're the one running it. Like, a business's success is solely based off of who is operating it, right? Who's the brain power behind it? How passionate are they? How good are they at sales? How much do they understand customers and this whole interaction thing and customer habits? And can they predict what the customer is going to do? I mean, it's solely based on that. And so, and they also, with franchises, they propose this beautiful thing, right? Here's how much you're going to make. Here's
all
how
wrapped
much,
up in a beautiful package.
Yes. And so you think like, oh, no big deal, my $8,000 rent. No big deal because I'm going to make $50,000, $100,000 a month, right? Then you're like, oh, what's going on? We're only making 20. Like, holy crap, what happened? And so you feel a little out of control. And so I told her I would step out of the franchise. I would start fresh. And a big visual we do is we really focus on brick by brick, you know? It takes a long time to grow a business, to start a business. It takes a lot longer than people think. We're 10 years in, right? And people get so impatient and mad at their business when they really just need to hone in and focus on those daily tasks and making sure each brick is perfectly formulated and structured. And the brick, you know, within your business, you can think about a huge building you're building, and every little brick is tiny, and it takes so long, you know. It's like, oh my gosh, I have to build this huge building. One tiny brick, another tiny brick. But you know, when you're building your business and you're actually focused and you're intentional on all those little choices, you know, my juices are formulated correctly. I'm making a profit. My rent is within range. I'm growing at an appropriate speed. My employees are all valuable. You know, I don't have excess employees. All my expenses are intentional. I don't have unnecessary expenses just going out the door. You're really intentional about every tiny choice you're making. And sure, it takes longer because you're not handed this beautiful package assuming you're going to make a lot of money right away, right? Instead, you're intentional, and it takes time, and you're throwing slow, and there's a very loud truck outside, and it takes a long time, but you're confident and you have peace. We see the difference night and day all the time with people. Those that have peace and those that feel chaotic and all over the place and out of control.
You're grasping for anything. Traction. We talk about traction all the time, and it's the best visual. Imagine you have some really nice snow tires on your car, and you're just cruising along. You've got traction versus you're trying to climb up a hill with no tread on your tires. You're slipping backwards. It's a totally different mindset, and it frees your mental space up to be an entrepreneur and to really love what you do. If you're not full yourself, your cup is full, you can't give into your customers, your community. You have nothing to give. You're in this frozen state of fear, and it's not fun.
Nope, it's not. And so it takes longer, but it's more intentional, and it's way more peace-filled when you don't have a bunch of debt, and when you're not operating like a $100,000 a month juice bar, you're operating like a $20,000 a month juice bar. You know, you just have to be realistic about where you are and realize, I'm in year 2. I'm not in year 10, you know, let's be realistic about where we are. And then you can enjoy the process. Because let's be honest, like, I feel like we've talked about this recently. You can make a lot of money, but then you can only go on so many vacations. Like, enjoy the work you do every day.
Money does not guarantee happiness.
No, and you can work a day job, and that covers your bills, and then you can work on your passion project, your juice business, that you're like, I'm growing this, and it might take 3 years before I get to quit my day job, but at least it's peace-filled. At least I enjoy the work I'm doing. At least I'm actually happy rather than stressed and probably growing cancer in my body from all the stress. You know, like, it's just...
Stress is awful for you. I've seen research on studies of stress. It's just the moment that you get out of that and you get into a better headspace and you realize where you want to go long term and start to work on that, even if it's not frugal in that moment, you just enter a total different state of life.
Yeah, and, just enjoy life. Like, we're supposed to enjoy every day and the work we're doing. And it's not, happiness does not come from making a ton of money. It comes from doing good work, interacting with your customers, having good employees, blessing your employees and paying them well. You know, like, joy comes from knowing you're doing good work. And then you go to bed every night and you're like, sure, maybe I only had 500 in sales today. But it was a good day. I smiled all day long. I don't have a looming $5,000 check I have to pay tomorrow. Like, I had fun. It was good. My bills are paid. And tomorrow's another day that I get to enjoy. So just don't get money hungry. Don't get, like, fooled by this success is just going to happen thing. Enjoy the journey. Enjoy the process. That's what it is. When you're 80 and you're looking back on your life, you're not like, man, disappoint me so much money. No, you're like, man, we did good work. Like, we smiled every day.
We served a lot of people.
We brought joy to the community. Like, that's what you're going to remember. That's what is most important. So anytime you get an opportunity, think 10 years from today, am I going to be thankful I did this? Am I going to be glad I went $100,000 in debt? What if the business doesn't work? Man, I'm going to regret that. No, you know, like, think about yourself in the future and looking back, what am I going to be glad I did? I'm going to be glad that I grew slow, and enjoyed the process. So anyways, just a little like conversation we had, and we have it a lot, and more reinforces our just go slow, enjoy the process. You're going to learn more. You're going to become a better entrepreneur because of it. Like, we become good entrepreneurs when we're kind of forced to learn how to make money. You're forced to learn how to sell. You're forced to learn how to do your numbers. You're forced to learn how to market. Not when somebody just gives it to you, right? Lauren and I become who we've become because we spent the last 10 years scrapping around trying to figure out how we're going to do this. What can we sell? What can we make? How can we market this? That's how you learn. You wouldn't give a toddler everything they need and just be like, here you go, life is done. No, you're teaching them, like, you got to learn to do this, little one. You got to learn to tie your shoes because it's going to help you later on. You got to learn to make your breakfast because you're going to have to do it later on. So learn the tasks, build those muscles, start practicing, and be okay with the journey going slow, because that's really where the blessing comes from, you know? Okay.
Love it.
Okay, we're done.
Love it.
Well, it was supposed to be 5 minutes.
That was a mid-work day chime in from Jordan Rosendale.
Oh, gosh.